Hey everybody, well, I am very excited to be driving the all-new 7th generation 2023 Nissan Z. There's no number after the name Z anymore. This is just the Nissan Z, 7th generation car, 2023 model year. All very cool. Now first, I actually need to tell you that this is a very short amount of time in this car. I've just got 90 minutes in the car, so I'm a little bit rushed and I don't have quite as much detail as I would normally like to, and that's because I'm on a drive that Nissan put together, not my normal route. Now, there are going to be 3 trims of 7th generation Nissan Z: the Sport, the Performance, and the Proto Spec. Now, the Sport is the lowest cost Nissan Z, and the Performance is the higher level car, and then the Proto Spec is a limited edition model. They are only going to sell 240 of them, which harkens back to the original 240Z. Clever. Now we'll put the prices for the 3 trims up on the screen right now so you can see the differences. The Performance trim is definitely the more equipped version, right? And there is a $10,000 difference between the prices, so it kind of better be. This is the better equipped version, so for example, I do have the larger of 2 center console touchscreens. I do have heated seats, but you know, I also have some other equipment as well. So I will also put up on the screen some of the more important equipment differences between the Sport trim 350Z and the Performance trim 350Z. All right, but I did get a chance to quickly walk around the car and take a look from the outside. Let me show you that right now. All right, everybody, let's take a quick moment to take a look at the exterior of this car. This particular Z is a Z Performance, the more expensive one, as I mentioned, and it is painted in 2-tone paint. It is Syrian blue below and super black up top. And if you can't quite see it, that is the Syrian blue here, and then from the pillars up, super black. And I think Nissan did a great job of maintaining the classic 2-door sports car shape. Excellent proportions, nice white fender flares, really well done. And not only is it a good looking body, a couple quick notes about the body: the hood, the door, and the hatch are made from aluminum. Taking a look at the car in profile, again, classic 2-door shape. And I'll take a moment to throw the dimensions up on the screen right now so you can have a quick look. And if you want, I have a full set of specs in the description. But I really love what they did here with this roof. It kind of like takes the slope and just continues all the way down right to the rear spoiler right there. I think the 19-inch wheels look fantastic, and those are forged 19-inch wheels. And I also love the way the red calipers just kind of stand out from the fairly like dark metallic paint in there, so you have real nice contrast right there. And I like little detail like the gloss black side view mirror cover with the turn signal right there. And of course, the classic Z logo. Looking at the car from the back, it also maintains a fairly retro classic shape. I think that this rear spoiler is just the right amount of kind of noticeable but not too in your face, and I think the brand new Nissan logo with this white underneath combined with the classic Z right there is a really nice contrast of like modern and retro kind of original kind of thinking, so I think that's really good. And I like these like narrow horizontal slots built into the taillights. I think that's a nice touch. And of course you get very real dual exhaust tips, all very good. All right, let's take a quick look inside the car. Pretty typical things here: bottle opener, space for stuff. You get power windows with automatic open shut, power locks. You do have a vent right at the door, that's a nice touch. Traction control on and off, there's that button right there. You do have some manual and some power adjustments. So the manual adjustments right there and the power adjustments are right there. But more importantly, you've got good deep upper and lower bolsters to hold you in place. You've got these nice metallic pedals down low, and yes, 1, 2, 3 pedals, oh so very good. And that's because of course we've got a 6-speed manual transmission. Briefly, I will say this is tilt and telescoping steering. It is manually adjusted with the adjustment way down under here. Engine start stop down next to the shifter. That is a 12.3-inch fully digital instrument cluster. And because this is a Z Performance, we get a 9-inch center console touchscreen instead of an 8-inch that comes with the Z Sport. You also get USB Type-C, standard USB, climate control adjustments, heated seats. This opens the rear hatch, and slide this back for an additional cup holder. Looking up, you have normal door lights, those types of things, and not much else. And I'll tell you what, that is okay. One indication that this is a real sports car is you've got a boost gauge right here, a turbo speed gauge right here, and then battery voltage, which isn't the most glamorous thing to look at, but quite important. All right, I'm excited to do it. Let's get back to the drive. Cool, right? I think this is a great looking car. Nissan did a great job with the design. Time for the powertrain. This is a good one. 400 horsepower. Starts with a 4. That is a great start. This is a twin turbocharged 3-liter V6 that makes 400 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque. You get that peak horsepower at a nice and high 6,400 RPM, and that's quite high for a turbocharged engine. And you get peak torque between 1,600 and 5,200 RPM, a nice broad range of torque. It's also a 68 horsepower jump from the last generation Z. The 370Z may do with 332 horsepower. You choose between a 6-speed manual transmission, yes indeed, and a 9-speed automatic transmission, and there is no difference in price between the two transmissions. So, driver enthusiasts, rejoice! 6-speed manual transmission is available and no cost compared to the 9-speed automatic transmission. And of course, this is a proper, true sports car. It is front engine, rear wheel drive, no all-wheel drive, no nothing like that. So, in the best possible way, this is old school and proper. But it doesn't matter how short of a time I have with the car. Of course I'm going to see how well it accelerates. Let me show you that right now. All right, guys, time for a quick acceleration test. I do have the car in sport mode, and I have a 6-speed manual transmission, so all that's going to be up to me. All right, coming to a complete stop. Do pretty low revs. This is a torquey motor. Oh, yeah. Oh, good. Oh, come on. Great revs. What an engine. Oh, we're hustling. Great engine. Noticeable improvement from the 370Z. Really nice. Smooth shifts. Good throws. They're not the shortest throws in the world, but man, that is healthy. That was a good time. Yeah, classic, good acceleration, 6-speed manual transmission, 400 horsepower, and rear wheel drive, the way it should be. But of course, it's not about just going quickly in a straight line. This is a sports car, not a muscle car. And yes, I of course had to test the handling as well. But before I do that, let me quickly tell you a little bit about the suspension. So I already said that Nissan improved the structure of the Z, but Nissan also did some work on the suspension. This has new monotube dampers for better shock absorber control, and we've got a double wishbone front suspension and a multi-link rear suspension, which is good, proper sports car suspension geometry to work with, especially the double control arms in front. That really helps control the wheel as it moves up and down, so that makes a big difference in feel. But instead of just telling you that, I'd be much happier to show you that, so let me show you that right now. All right, guys, time for a quick handling test. I do have the car in sport mode. Let's see how this brand new Nissan Z handles. Good pull, good pull. Good body control, well done. Yeah, this is a stiffer structure than the outgoing 370Z for sure, and you feel that in the way the body handles. Real nice stiff structure. The suspension is doing its job. It's not harsh in any way, but you have really good body control. It feels like a sports car. You have grip like a sports car. You have body control like a sports car. You have fast turn-in like a sports car. This is good. This is fun. This is engaging. I could do with a little bit stiffer suspension, if anything, but considering all the things you have to do to make a well-rounded sports car, I think Nissan did a great job. This is definitely worth going around and doing that a little bit more. fourth gear is providing plenty of pull, so no need to shift. Yeah, good reaction to bumps. Yeah, great car. Now, were it up to me, I'd have the steering even a little stiffer, a little bit heavier weight, and I would have even stiffer springs as well for a little bit more body control. But generally speaking, this is a lot of fun. Great car. Quick in a straight line, quick in the corners, good body control, just all the things you're looking for in a classic sports car. Really well done. Yeah, Nissan did a lot of great work to just give you good classic sports car feel. Me, being an old driving enthusiast curmudgeon, I would loved it if it were turned up even more, but hey, there's a lot of modern things they have to consider, and I'm too old to realize it perhaps. Of course, not every road is a great and twisty one. You're going to be spending a lot of time on the interstate and just getting from point A to point B, so it's good to talk a little bit about the ride. This does have a totally comfortable ride. The advantages of me wishing the handling were just a little sharper is when you're not exercising this car, you've got a perfectly pleasant ride in this thing. It's firm, but it's definitely not harsh. And so it's easy to soak up miles in this thing, and that would be on roads like this or on the interstate. Why don't I show you? All right, everybody, time for a stint on the interstate. See how the Nissan feels in more pedestrian situations. Getting up to speed right now. So the engine spins a little bit higher than you'd expect in the modern era. You know, we're going interstate speeds, 77 miles an hour, and we're cruising at 2,700 RPM, but it's quiet, it's subdued, so it's still just a pleasant rumble in the background. It's certainly not overpowering. All right, I'll set the cruise control now. It is an adaptive cruise control, and that's fine. That's what you'd expect these days. Road noise is fine. You know, given that we're on high-performance summer tires, it is a little bit louder than your typical passenger car, but it certainly isn't overpowering or overwhelming. It's in the background. And wind noise is actually really nicely isolated, so you can hear it going over the car, but it certainly isn't loud or punishing. Generally, this car is a little bit louder on the interstate, just general noise, than, you know, your best passenger cars out there, or certainly some of the premium cars that are available. But for a two-door sports car, it's perfectly pleasant. And we do have a perfectly reasonable ride here. Now, it is on the firm side, but it's no way punishing, no way harsh. It still absorbs the heaves and the bumps on the road just fine. So no, this wouldn't be your first choice for a big family trip, but yeah, you could definitely go several hundred miles in this car perfectly comfortably. Like I said, perfectly pleasant. All right, I want to take a minute to talk about the sport mode in the new Z. Now, I have to be honest and say I don't know everything about it just yet, but here's what I do know. When you put on S mode, as it's called in this manual transmission Z Performance, the steering weight gets stiffer, you get a faster throttle map, and you get automatic rev matching when you downshift. So right now I am in the sport mode. I am in 6th gear. I'm going to shift to 5th gear. I'm not going to touch the throttle. Now to 4th. Now to 3rd. Now to 2nd. I never touched the throttle once. That was all the computer doing the automatic rev matching for me. Now, I don't like that. I'd rather do it myself, but I'm not always perfect at it. Obviously, no human is, and I'm far from the best human at it. So it is nice to have something that would consistently do it spot on every time when you're downshifting, and that does give you one less thing to think about. But for me, if I turn it off, now I'm not in sport mode, and I am using the throttle. This is me doing that now. And I'm just happier that way. So there you go. But of course, this is a 2023 model year car, and a 2023 anything is going to have modern safety equipment, and this Nissan Z is no exception. It does have the usual battery of driver assist systems that you would expect. I'll put the list on the screen right now so you can check it out. For the buyer that is interested in a Z, I wouldn't imagine this is top of your priority list, but it's good to know that it's there, what's standard, and on and on. So there you go. So what do we have in this 2023 Nissan Z? What we have is a sports car, a true and proper old school original concept sports car. Front engine, rear wheel drive, good weight distribution between the front and rear axle, good steps to keep the weight of the car down, good dimensions, good proportions. Everything about it is classic sports car. Now, of course, it has plenty of the modern things any modern car has. I just talked about the safety equipment and, plenty of computers control plenty of things, and obviously stability control and airbags and all that kind of stuff. Fully digital instrument cluster, fully digital center console, touchscreen, all those things. But you do have real gauges right in the center of the dash right here. Turbo boost, turbo speed, battery voltage, good old school stuff. And you do have what is the most important thing about a sports car. You have good driver feel. You have engagement with this car. You can feel what the car is doing. Not just how fast you're going, be it in a straight line or in the corners, but how the car feels as it's doing those things. And that is so critically important and quickly becoming a rarity in the modern automotive world. So I appreciate that so very much. Now, if I were to get nitpicky, this is not the most refined version of all these things. The engine has a little bit of coarseness, especially at the higher revs. And the 6-speed manual shift, the throws are a little bit longer than ideal, and each engagement into the cogs isn't quite as precise as you'd hope. But Nissan definitely went in the right direction with all of those things. And critically, like I already said, the feel is there, the engagement is there, and it's priced in a really good place. So you have a 400 horsepower sports car that looks the part, feels the part, and is obtainable. It's not in the stratosphere in terms of cost. Nissan gave itself a monumental task, building a classic sports car that harkens back to the original that's over 50 years old now, and doing so in the modern age with the modern requirements of the automobile. And they executed really, really well. I'm Robin Warner. Thank you for watching. And if you are still watching, I would really, really appreciate it if you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Those things really do help me out quite a lot. Okay, goodbye. Let's do a little bit more shifting, yeah? Oh, great, great engine.